And good morning here in the Pacific Northwest. Good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. I'm Jerry Dreesen, the AOPP Executive Director, and I want to welcome you to one of our live broadcasts. But it'll also be recorded, so you'll see this in our LinkedIn, in our YouTube, also on Facebook as well. And one of the things that we wanted to do, based on how people were filling out our survey, is to have more engagement with you. And so we're trying to put together a weekly live, and based on calendars, this was one of our first opportunities. So what I'd like to do is just open it up for those of you that are jumping on. Feel free to ask questions about what's currently going on, and this is going to be uh, an opportunity for you to talk about things with what's going on in your world too. So I'd like to make this be like a two-way conversation. So feel free to just drop it into the link, and then I'll share it on the screen, and we can talk about it. And then with that, I'll just jump into what we've currently got going on. Those of you who are members, you should have received an email about all of the great benefits you get with our membership in the form of savings through the new system that Lauren's got set up, so you can save money on food, on hotel, on travel, on certain items. It's going to help you, especially if you do a lot of traveling and with your with your circuit that you're on. So we're hoping that that's going to be a great benefit to you. Another thing that we've talked about in the past, haven't really done a full-blown talk about it, but it is our proprietary websites that we create for those of you that have a business that don't have a website. And it's a very simple single-page website, but it's going to have all your information and contact information. And our goal is to have that rank in the area where you're working. So, if that's something that you are interested in, drop me a line. I'll be more than happy to walk you through and show you what that looks like. It's priced very affordable. If you can imagine having a website with all your information for less than $100 a month, this is a great opportunity for you, again, as a member. And also our website, we are looking at, now that we've grown as big as we are, we're kind of stretching the box that we're in, so we need a bigger box. So you'll be seeing some changes on that down the road as we begin to make things kind of gel a little bit more. I know some of you are having or have been having in the past some issues as far as logging into the members area, and believe me, we're trying to get those issues taken care of as well, because we want your experience with us to be top notch. That's always been our goal, is to give you all the information that is needed as far as what's happening in the PEMF world, as far as education. That's always been our goal, is to make sure that those of you that are out there using PEMF in a business world, that you've got all of the tools and education to provide the best services for the people that you're working with. So again, we're live, and if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat or into the comments, and I'll be more than happy to answer those. As far as on the political side, one of the things that would really help us out in the political world is if you are practicing in a state where you are either a vet or you have really good relationships with a vet, is to have them write out and sign on their letterhead that they're totally okay with you coming in and using your machines on animals, or that they themselves find it perfectly fine for people using PEMF on animals, because that's the one hiccup we're getting with some of the boards that rule on in the veterinarian side whether or not devices can be used by non-veterinarian people is ignorance. And it is, again, it's same thing in the medical world on humans, is it's not an electrical device. To tell somebody that PEMF is electrical and that it shocks the body, you have to remove those words, because it may feel like that's what's happening, but it's not happening. It doesn't have to be in direct contact. It's over clothes. It's not a wet medium like an ultrasound or a TINS unit. And it's not an electrical current that's delivering the system. It's a magnetic pulse. So it's totally different in the words of true physics. And so when you're talking about using a PEMF on somebody, just make sure you're using the word a magnetic pulse and that it's not an electrical shock. And again, people that feel it, they're going to say it in terms of how they're experiencing it. But if you can help guide them to use that, it's going to be a lot easier down the road, because those are really the main things that we're coming in conflict with working with boards. And I don't see any questions being asked. But again, this is our first time. So I'm hoping that to make this a regular time every week that I'll jump on and do live Q&A. And also, if you're just catching this as a recording, drop your comments in, because we'll still get them, and we can definitely, answer them there too. As far as what we're looking at in the future, we had a great response with our first convention, the PEMF Con. The speakers all had a great time, had great feedback. Our goal is to take each one of the speakers and offer them an opportunity to come on live during this time with Q&A, and to be available for people to ask questions as well. So those of you that were at the conference, if you have anybody on in that group that you saw that you'd like for us to invite to come in and do a live Q&A, love to have you do that. I've got a couple earmarked that I'd love to have come on and talk about the things that they've got going on. We're also in talks with other people that have specializations using PEMF that are kind of brand new to what's happening. And we are working with them with some of the techniques that we teach that's helping them help more people. So as I get them involved and bringing them on board, then we can start talking about some of the other great things that are happening in the PEMF world. So there are a few people watching right now. I thank you for jumping on and watching. And I am going to just kind of stay open here for another minute and see if there's anybody that wants to drop in a question that's watching, or even in the private chat. And we're going well there. Silence is golden. Also, one of the people I'd love to have come on is the young woman that does PEMF on the grizzly bear. And I've had a chance to speak with her in person, and she's a very interesting person. But to have her come on and talk about working with large wild animals like a grizzly bear, I think that would be a really engaging conversation to have too. So again, I'm hoping to make the bottom of the hour on Tuesdays our new live and question and answer. And I look forward to seeing more of you on, and let others know, and talk more about the AOPP. I had a new patient come in last night. She's a nurse, and she said, well, how long have you been doing PEMF? And I said, probably about 10 years. She goes, how come more people don't know about this? And she had just been finding out about it in the last month or so. So it's just a brand new door that opened for her, and she is totally on fire and excited about all of the things it's doing for her son, um, and her mom, who's got some arthritis in her body that PEMF is helping remove stuff. And so she's going to be learning more about it. And hi, Joanne from Florida. Welcome. You're 3 hours ahead. So I guess you're having some lunch. But again, she is just on fire with learning more about PEMF. And I asked her, I said, well, what do you know about it? And that's another question that you can ask other people is when they hear about it, you just say, well, what do you know about it? And then listen to them and their words. And then from that, you can help correct them if they're saying anything incorrectly, or now you know where they're coming from. And in her world, she's kind of going down to, and I said, well, you know about the Krebs cycle and, you know, ADP and ATP and nitric oxide. And so we were able to have a really good conversation on the science side of things. And again, she wants to, you know, she's looking at our vendors that we support as far as getting a machine and wants to engage and use it. And I said, well, we have lots of educational stuff if you want to, open a business or just how to use it, best practices. So it was great to hear and see somebody that, when they wake up to what PEMF is all about, and they're like wondering why more people, why aren't doctors using this? Why isn't this, getting national coverage, and the things that we all hope that we get to see happen too. So again, I want to thank those of you that hopped on for this brief chat, and I am hoping to see you again next week at the same time, and have your questions ready, and just let people know that we are going to be jumping on and doing more of a live Q&A as part of our feedback that we got from you from PMF Con. So on that note, thank you very much for your time today, and we'll see you again next week. Take care.